Wow, that was bad. Wouldn't you like to tell them that? Zero Builds has a lot of situations like that'll make you question your own skill.
Oh no, no, please. Six? Really?
In this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to avoid situations like that, what to do in situations similar to it, and how to secure more wins, as well as a vibe review at the end so you guys can see my own thought process while playing. With that said, use code INSANITY in the item shop and let's get into the video. So, a bit of backstory about me here. The only reason I started playing this game was because of Zero Build. I'm not going to try to start a war here of build versus Zero Build, as that's not my goal. I like that Zero Build is more down to earth both figuratively and literally, and there's a greater emphasis on movement and gunplay, a topic I'll get into later. And since then, Zero Build is the only mod I play, besides LEGO and Festival of course. And with that, let's talk about the first step of improving. The secret to winning in Zero Build is to play around cover. Because you can't make cover on the fly like you can in builds, you need to always have your eye on where the best place to play around is. Always take note of it before you engage in a fight, and as you're traversing the map, think about the best way to get from point A to point B, which brings me into my next point. Movement. There are a lot of ways to get around the map in this game, and figuring out which one works best for you is key. This can be something simple like sprinting and sliding, or something better like grapplers or shockwaves. A very simple thing you can do to conserve stamina across slightly longer distances is to sprint, slide, and then sprint again. Or you can get silly with it and spam your slide. Speaking of which, get into the habit of sliding whenever you've used a mobility item to continue your momentum. It will do wonders for you down the road. The last big thing for Zero Build is to optimize your loadout based on how you play. Now, there was a lot of arguments to be made for the best way to get the most out of your kit, but bottom line, you only have 5 slots. And what you carry plays a part in determining how the rest of the game will go for you. If you're just getting into the game, don't make the same mistake I did when I started by carrying 5 guns. For obvious reasons this is stupid, but I'm going to tell you how to get the most out of your 5 slots. Without question, 2 of those slots should be weapons, and one of those weapons should be a shotgun. Personally, depending on how you play, if you don't quick swap weapons, you'll want to run a shotgun. But if you swap like I do, what I've been doing recently is an SMG with a pump shotty combo to maximize damage in between my shotgun's fire rate. But if you don't have an SMG, you'll want to carry another spray weapon like an AR. SMGs are better than ARs up close, but someone with good aim could invalidate an SMG before you even get close. Or if you're a good shot, you could run a sniper in place of your AR. So that leaves you with 3 more slots. One of those slots should be something defensive. Shield bubbles, bunkers, porta forts, or if you get lucky, fortresses. These will become essential during endgame. Next up, you need movement. You never want to be in a situation where you don't have that. Jetpacks, shockwaves, grapplers, or whatever is in rotation during whatever season you're watching this in. And the final slot is heals, because unless you're someone like Prospering, you're going to be taking massive amounts of damage in your journey of improvement. The faster an item heals you, the faster you can get back into the fight. And Chug Splashes and Flow Brave Fizzes are perfect for that, but me personally, I prefer Big Pots. Because you lose shield before you lose health, and I'd rather be able to replenish my shield before losing it all and have to find a medkit. But yes, Chug Splashes are great because you can use them while moving, and Flow Ray is great because of the temporary jump boost it gives you. Now that you've optimized your loadout, it isn't going to mean anything if you don't follow these next steps to help you secure more wins. Number 1. Drop early. Always try to drop as early as you can. When I play with my friends, I tell them, we drop early or not at all. Why? It's objectively better for you to land first because the sooner you land, the sooner you get to loot and clear out whatever POI you landed at. This also teaches you how to play more aggressively because most people drop early or halfway through, but by the time the bus reaches the end of its route, there's only a handful of people left on board, and they most likely won't drop where you did. Number 2. Landing spots. Where you land directly affects how your early and mid game will go. Familiarize yourself with your favorite POI so when you land there, you know exactly where to go. If you like landing early or in the center of the map, your early game will involve you wiping out other players, looting, and securing a strong position. Always know where you're headed to next. If you like to drop late, your early to mid game will be focused around your rotations. There are 100 players in each lobby, so there will be people everywhere, and you need to make sure that you're always moving with purpose and winning your early game fights. If you're unsure of where the best spots to drop are, or you genuinely do not know where to go, all you need to do is just play a couple games, and keep note of the areas you like or are consistently the safest ones for you to drop at. While playing, I want you to ask yourself, where are the places where I most commonly come across other players? Where am I going to rotate to next, and where is the best spot for me to go? You'll only know these answers by playing the game. Number 3. Patience. Don't immediately go into a fight if you hear shooting. What I mean by that is definitely feel free to, but as you're approaching it, look around first and see if anyone else is in the area. Everyone likes a third party, but no one wants it to happen to them. A 1v1, 2v2, or whatever game mode you're playing in can easily turn into a war if you're not patient. Fights need to be dealt with strategically and swiftly. The faster you win your fights, the lower chance you have of being third party. Number 4. Always use natural cover when rotating. This is especially important since snipers are back in this season's loot pool. You never want to be caught with your pants down out in the open with nothing to hide behind. My friend is a crazy sniper, and by playing with her, I've seen her hit some unbelievable shots. And I learned that you never know if you're in someone's sightline until it's too late. Be sure to be out of your opponent's LOS as much as possible. If you can rotate under a building, by car, helicopter, that's your best bet. You are at your most vulnerable state when rotating, so do your best to stay alive. Number 5. Turn on visual sounds. If you're a seasoned vet, you can skip this part, but if you're new to the game or a casual player, you need to have this on. This is a game changer, and even though everyone has it on, it still feels like cheating because it damn near tells you exactly where everyone is. For those unfamiliar, if you see the footsteps icon going off, it means someone is near you. If you see a shadow around said icon, it means they are very close to you. Just pay attention to where you hear them walking and you'll find them. Also, it's worth noting that you can bypass this by just crouching so other players won't be able to see you. But that's a double-edged sword, so watch out. Number 6. Abuse right side flicks. Fortnite is a third-person shooter with a right side favoring camera. When you peek from the right, less of your body will be exposed than if you peek to the left. Play around cover that allows you to shoot from your right side. This will allow you to win more fights by giving your opponent less visibility of you. Number 7. Reduce cleanup time. There are 3 things everyone does after winning a fight: healing, reloading, or looting. And which one you do first is important. I try to reload first because you never know who could have heard you fighting in the distance. Loot, and then I heal. The only time I heal first is if I barely want to fight. But get into the habit of reloading after each fight, reduce how much time you spend looting, and grab some heals before your next rotation. Number 8. You gotta have game sense. But what does that mean? This means keeping track of things that need to be constantly evaluated and focusing on the right topics. This can be something simple like, should you force a 50-50 if you and your opponent drop on the same chest at the start of the game? If someone were shooting at you, where would you run to break their line of sight of you? You can improve your game sense right now by just asking yourself these questions while playing. If you and your teammate need to escape a situation and you notice you are low on health, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and heal in the car as your duo drives, instead of healing where you are and then deciding to run. I know that's simple, but sometimes split-second decisions like that can be crucial in keeping you alive. There's a lot of people in each lobby, and the ones that make it to the end are the most calculated. They move with purpose and they always have a plan. There's a big difference between wanting to win and knowing how to win, and game sense is knowing which steps to take to achieve it. Number 9. Positioning. Positioning. Get this in your head. This is crucial knowledge and most important in endgame, because think about how many times you lost a fight because your opponent reached high ground before you did. It makes perfect sense because securing high ground or very good cover during endgame is perhaps the best kind of advantage you could give yourself. During endgame, shield bubbles, bunkers, forts, fortresses, or whatever you guys have is more important now than ever before. If you're unable to secure high ground, you can safely use these as well as natural cover to fall back on. Because you can't create cover on the fly, you want to be in your opponent's line of sight as little as possible. In the moments leading up to the final few fights, you need to be aware of where everyone is at all times. And small tip, you never want to be the last team to rotate during endgame, because being the final team to do so greatly hinders your chances of winning and is a completely miserable experience.
we actually like stealth the fuck out of that. That's crazy.
I have one big pop for you. No! No!
Well, what happened?
I hear the fucking helicopter, dude. Shit! Blake, take this. Shit! Alright, where? Oh!
You good?
Hiding in the vent.
Shit. There's a guy right here. Behind you.
Ah! Number 10. Teamwork. This game, like any other game, is 10 times more fun when playing with friends. I rarely play solos because I don't particularly enjoy it very much. However, duos, trios, and squads is where it's at. Matches in duos go by the fastest, trios is sweaty, and squads is the most chaotic. When I'm playing in these lobbies, I try my best to put my teams in spaces where they can do the best they can. For example, the friend I mentioned that is an excellent sniper. By playing with her, I've learned to scope out my surroundings before engaging in a fight. I have another friend that likes to play up close, so we like to rush down our opponents and get out before more people arrive. Or, when everyone else is low, I try my best to send some heals their way. Having teammates adds a lot more variables and strategy to your gameplay, as you now have 1, 2, or 3 other people that are helping you, most of the time. Just don't play like this guy. You also have more slots and more flexibility, and you can optimize this in squads, for example, by saying, hey, one person carries medkits, one holds shields, one holds bunkers, and the last one holds forts. In tandem, if everyone is pulling their weight and you move as one, your chances of winning will go up by 99%. But none of this is going to mean anything without If you don't learn anything in this video, this is the one thing I hope you learn. The final key to winning in Zero Build is to
hit your shots, kid.
Having good and consistent crosshair placement and tracking will make you a dominant force on the battlefield. I wouldn't say there is a surefire way to improve your aim overnight, it's just something that will scale with how much you improve as a player over time. There are ways to practice it, things like aim trainers and whatnot, but I used to play a lot of Overwatch before I got into this game, and I used the aim trainer in there for 5 minutes a day before my first game and trained it more while waiting in queue for my next one. I think now would be a good time to mention that I think sensitivity is a very interesting subject, because I think your sensitivity is directly tied to how fast you process things. For example, if you're a high sense player, you process things very quickly. That said, these are my sensitivity settings, but don't look at that or anyone else's and think that something is changing for you. Because if you're someone that plays on low sense trying out high sense settings, that fundamentally messes with how you play, as I'd argue it will probably worsen your aim over time because you're playing on someone else's settings. You're pretty much driving someone else's car, if that makes sense. For me, I would say the best way to improve your aim is to be steady with every shot. I use ADS way more than hipfire, although I have heard that hipfire is better for you in the long run. Anyway, when aiming down sights, just keep your right stick steady and take your time with each shot. If you're scoped in, you're already playing at a distance, and unless you're finding someone with superb aim, you don't need to rush out a bunch of missed shots. Snipers are the best way for you to improve your mid to long range aim. This also applies to 1v1 duels. When someone pushes you, they are demanding your attention, and the worst thing you can do here is freeze. Be confident with each shot, and if you shoot with confidence, you're more likely to land more consistent shots. It sounds stupid, but your aim is way more accurate when you feel like you're going to land your shot versus when you feel nervous or scared. Lastly, to show you what I mean, I put every tip I've listed to use, and this is what it looks like in execution. Okay, so first things first, loadout. I am running the mythic bow with a tactical shotty, a grappler, porter fortress, and 2 big pots. I decided to go with the bow instead of an SMG this time around because I couldn't find the purple pump I often use, so I decided to run with the purple tactical shotty as its fire rate is faster and I can rely on in case a 1v1 were to occur, and I could turn what could possibly be a 50-50 into my favor with a few well-placed shots. Second, positioning. My trio and I are in endgame with 4 teams remaining. Unfortunately, there is an odd man out. Fortunately, it's not us. So, we were the second team to rotate as we needed to heal up after a previous fight. I found us an open spot on this hill here, and that's where the optimizing your loadout comes into play. I throw down a fortress and we all run inside. As we do that, 2 teams are killed, leaving us and them. Third, patience. There is no reason for me and my team to force a 50-50 right now by charging in and fighting, and there is only 10 seconds left before the storm closes in. I decide to wait and see where the next circle will be and poke the enemy team from afar. My friend gets a beautiful pick and we're up. Now, we could push that, but there is a considerable distance from us to them, and with the other 2 members alive, they could res and heal them up quick. Fourth, teamwork. Luckily for us, by waiting for the next storm, we end up being close to the center of the next circle. The opposing team realizes this, and I tell my team that the one advantage we have over them right now is that they have to come to us. Soon after, the final fight begins. Because I know they are competent players, none of them overextend or play in an area where they don't need to be. We hold the fortress for as long as we can before we're forced to come down. Fifth, aim. Final fights are always hectic, as this is the one fight that matters the most. And once we're down, there is no more remaining cover. All 6 players are fully exposed, and we start brawling. My friend Snap hits a beautiful boogie bomb, and Lizzie follows up for the alley-oop. Snap throws another assist my way, and close it out with one more body shot for the win. And with that, I hope you've learned something useful. No 2 games of Fortnite are ever the same because there's millions of variables happening all at once. From where you land to where you position yourself in in-game, if you have any extra thoughts on how to improve, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.